I am Elijah. As far as anyone can tell, you are alive. You are breathing. Certainly, physiologically, you are breathing. But perhaps you are not breathing in the sense that you are fully inspiring air into your lungs consciously, relaxing, and taking in those known nutrients that are in the air, that nourish the tissues, the bone, indeed all the systems of the body. That is what oxygen does. And there are other, of course, gases that also work with the human body. It is not simply just oxygen that you are breathing. And so the breath is the symbol of life. That which is breathing is alive. That is how you test to see if something is alive or dead. For those of you who have had transcendental experiences, you have seen even objects breathe. They appear to be vibrating because they are. They appear to be breathing because they are. Indeed, life manifests, expresses itself in all that you see that is physical. Every bit of every pulsating atom is life itself, expressing itself. Remember something, you are only able to perceive with your eyes that which your eyes are designed to physically perceive. For even you have cameras that are picking up things that your eye cannot see, whether it is not fast enough to catch it, or it is not perhaps as sensitive to take in rays of light or variations in light. You have designed technology that has even surpassed your own physical capabilities. And yet this computer, if you were to use that word, this programmable being that you are, yes, you are programmable. You learn everything. There is not a thing that you do that you did not learn from somewhere. Even putting on your blessed clothes, you learned that too. Driving your cars, learning how to sit, to pay attention. All of these things were taught to you. And your skills were honed. You wonder what your skills are. If these skills are good enough, if these skills should carry you to where you wish to be. Where you wish to be is where you feel you should be, where you deserve to be, where you are destined to be. This version of yourself that is growing in the universe. What does that mean? That means that there is a version of yourself that is being contributed to by your thoughts, your energy, by your love, of course. And yet, you have one picture in your mind of what this version of you could possibly look like, because you have your wonderful list of what you need to have, what you need to be for that feeling to come. If the feeling comes, then you have succeeded. That is what you are interested in, is the feeling. It is remarkable how often you feel the opposite trying to get the feeling that you want. You want to feel good, and yet you struggle to get to the good. And so, of course, as you've already experienced, it seems further and further away. For you are taught, programmed, perhaps, that it is only through struggle that you shall achieve. And your elders give you much evidence for this. The world at large gives you much evidence for this. Those who work hard are respected. Those who do not work hard, according to what people see, are considered lazy, uninspired, and slow. But if you struggle, perhaps you will be rewarded. this is one of the programs that seems to infiltrate and undermine what you are trying to accomplish now. For those who are gathered here this evening are tired of struggling. And you have crossed the hump. And if you haven't crossed it yet, you are just about to. And that's the topic for this evening. Not stopping now. Yes. For a version of you that exists that is very different. For some of you, very different. Some of you are, you might say, closer than others. Nevertheless, the concept and understanding is the same. You do not know what you are going to be. It does not matter how old you are or are not. You do not know the version of yourself that you shall be, even in a month, even next week. What will you be next Thursday, in 10 days? What will you be? Will you be the same? Thinking of the same things, doing the same things, banging your head against the wall the same way, waiting? Whatever it is, if it is not professional, perhaps it is personal. If it is not emotional, perhaps it is physical. But it will be something. For you are creative beings by nature. You simply have got caught up in when. How fast will it happen? Won't it get here already? Well, first you must arrive here. Well, then your reply will be, but I am already here. And that is the problem. I'm stuck here. And I am sick of being here. What is it? Why can I not get further? What is your definition of further? Well, where I want to be. Where you want to be, is that an emotion? Well, it is an emotion, but there are also certain things that must be there. Perhaps a partner, perhaps getting rid of a partner, perhaps more money, perhaps a different home, perhaps better health. And how do you propose you are going to achieve that? Do you have anything to say to that version of you? Let us say that version of you who has all the boxes checked on your list, walks into this room right now and sits next to you. A version of yourself walks through that door, looks the way that you want to look, walks the way that you want to walk, possesses the resume that you wish to possess, possesses the bank account that you wish to possess, has everything that you want, comes and sits and looks at you. Do you have anything to say to them? Are you going to beg them? What are you going to say as he or she looks right in your eyes? Do you wish for them to encourage you, to say you can do it? It would be quite an awkward conversation. Perhaps you will go through your spaces of feeling bad about yourself, that you are not there yet. Perhaps you will look and examine them very closely to see if everything is actually in the right place, with your very strict standards that all of you have. You want to see, are they perfect? And that is your problem even now, isn't it? You would even criticize or critically look at a version of yourself. And let us say you did not find any flaw at all. They are perfect versions of you. Then what? You will say, well, I can't wait to be that. And we will say, but that is in you now, listening to this conversation. Perhaps you have both of their hands in handcuffs and their legs bound and a gag in their mouth, so they are not the ones actually leading you through this room into your cars and sleeping in your bed tonight. Perhaps it is not them. Perhaps you are the hostage taker. Perhaps there is only one arm that is bound. Perhaps there is just a very loose gag on the mouth. These are very various versions of freedom. And so the key would be to surrender to this inside of you. That version of you exists right here, right now. You only need to surrender to that one. Some religious people, as of late, like to use the term or the question, what would Jesus do? And certainly, if one were to examine that statement, it is very similar to what we are speaking of. They are using another being, for they do not feel imperfection, you see. They only see him as a perfect being. So they say, what would he do? And if he would do it, then I shall do it. And therefore I will become a perfect being, though I will never be him. And yet that is what he taught. And he said, bless you as well. And so, if you need it, you see, it is wonderful to have heroes and those whom you look up to. It is necessary. If you do not have several heroes, we suggest you get to work and find a few that you admire, that you find to be beautiful and magical. They are very important. We would say it would be difficult to trust a person who has no heroes. Not that they will harm you, but they are certainly harming themselves and doing a great deal of internal dialogue that is not productive, for they do not see anything that they want to be like. There are those who trust animals more than they trust humans, and they are very proud to say that. I like more animals than I like human beings. They find this to be honoring God. Perhaps that needs some re-examination. You do not need to trust at all. You see, trust is a very interesting word. The definition of what you have given it implies that things can go wrong. It's like the word hope. If you hope, it means that a very big part of you has registered that things can go wrong. Even your death is not wrong. Why would it be wrong? Perhaps it would be unfortunate for you. Perhaps there are more things you wish to do. Perhaps those who love you would miss you terribly. But it does not mean it was wrong. That's a very interesting word, wrong. That which is culturally wrong in one country is not culturally wrong in another. There are certain ways that you cannot sit with people in certain countries. It would be considered disrespectful. And in another country, it is quite all right. And so the word right and wrong. You are working on this as a society, not only domestically, but globally you are working on it, to find some standard of right and wrong. So far it is that you should not kill each other. And pretty much everything else is up for grabs. You have heard people say, in this time of great change, and that is becoming very boring, to say the least. You are, at this very moment, at the precipice of surrendering to this version of yourself. You may call it your higher self if you wish to call it that. But let us say surrendering to the love and the magic that you are. You would not worry. You would be interested in creation. You would not have to trust, you see, because everything is one. You can trust your life. You can trust life itself. You may trust the unfolding. No one in front of you at any time is not meant to be there. At any time. If you surrender to this, then you will move through your life and navigate through your life with greater ease. And you will experience a more magical existence, for you will see signs and clues and messages everywhere. Is that too much to process? Would you like to go back to processing the way you did before? Were you even processing, or were you simply mulling it over endlessly, suffering through it, going further and further down the rabbit hole, trying to extract information from traumas that you have already understood? Meaning, you know what happened to you, and that is it. Either surrender to that was part of your soul path, or resist it and fight it. No matter how terrible you may feel it is, that is up to you. This is called personal responsibility, of a very different level than what you have been taught growing up. Growing up, personal responsibility was to clean your room, to brush your teeth, things like that. This personal reality is about reality creation. What is it that you fear? Why are you holding on so tight? So tightly. Wanting change but resisting it. Saying, that is not how I want it. You may be close to people who seem to have more energy, directed. And you love them, flow with them. Rise up to it. Perhaps you are the one yourself who is the one with more energy. And so, indeed, it is correct, as the young man here said earlier, your year is going to be very full. And we do not mean busy, for you have been busy before, but full is a feeling. There is satisfaction. There are times when, if you eat, you are full in 4 bites, aren't you? But then you continue to eat after that. To check in with yourself to see if you are actually satiated from the few bites of food that you have eaten. If you are not, then go ahead, your body is asking for more. But more often than not, it does not need as much food. And more often than not, it does not need as much of anything, actually. The more sensitive you become, yes, more sensitive than you are. You might be mistaking hypersensitivity or control issues for real sensitivity. Real sensitivity, authentic sensitivity, has created the great works of art that you love. That is authentic sensitivity. Those creators who were sensitive enough to give you beauty. What are you doing with your sensitivity? Are you simply just protecting yourself, waiting for the other persons to act differently, speak differently to you in the way that you wish they would speak to you? That sensitivity is simply a control issue. When you are done with those shenanigans, you shall surrender into this wonderful flow. You see, the universe is always flowing. You are holding onto the rocks. Imagine the flow of a river, and you are holding onto the rocks. Picture it in your mind right now. Now, as you are picturing this, notice if you pictured the river to be raging. Did you notice it? How many of you had a very strong raging river in your mind? Raise your hands. 1 or 2? So we'll address it to you. Why not? And why did you not see it as simply a peacefully flowing river? And that is because you see the flow as raging. Begin to imagine it as very gentle, strong but gentle, not out of control. Take a breath there, and then you will see that you will experience life more like this flow. So don't stop now. You're almost there. Bless you.